Hey, yo, what's going on, everybody? What's going on? What's going on, man? It's your boy Clash Masters here, and I'm here to talk about my completion, the end of the road, the end of the game of Final Fantasy VII Rebirth. I know it's been a long time, man. I kind of started off with Crisis Core, and then I did Infamous 2, and then jumped in. Obviously, when Final Fantasy VII Rebirth dropped, that was like a first game purchase, no brainer. Um, and just got so involved with Rebirth and then playing those other two games back to back that it's been one hell of a journey. But I finally completed it. I finally got it done, and it was a great feeling, bro. It was a real great feeling to really sit here and be like, oh, it's finally one and done. I'm here to kind of just talk about just what I what I think of the game, the past game, and the future of the next game. Um, you pick up from where you left off with remake. Obviously, you leave Midgar, you get out of Midgar, open world at this point, going to different regions and doing side quest stuff, main event stuff and other things like that. And I think it was cool to really go see this open world, see what's changed. It felt so nostalgic. And when I was going live through the other half, but my first playthrough, um, I didn't go live. I really wanted to capture some dope moments and really wanted to take it in. It felt so reminiscent of the OG, bro. It really felt so much like this is really what it is. This is Final Fantasy. This is Final Fantasy in all its glory now more than ever. This is the OG with a bigger budget and a bigger remake, and having it just be this on the new on a PS5 as well. Like, come on. So this was like pulling off stops. I thought it was great. I really thought just from start to finish, the synergy abilities, some of the new weapons, the way to customize your material, the way that you can do your abilities, and just so much different stuff. Now it's not a turn based, so you have a little bit more action. You can do this, you can do that. You're fighting more fluently, and this is what you could do. The stagger was crazy, the pressure was crazy, the summons were crazy. Just there was just so much stuff in this game that was just good. Even some of the side quests had, like, for me it felt like arcs. It had like parts, like you do this, you do that, you do this, you do that. It leads up to this big grandioso quest line, and you're doing this. Next, that's completed, that's done, that's completed. You go back to your main story, and this is what's going on, that's what's going on. It was just such a captivating game. Even when I was like, I'm not gonna really play the whole Yu-Gi-Oh and Final Fantasy, they even make you play that, and it's part of the storyline. So one thing I will say, the game does make you engage with some of the mini games that you could always come back to, play, get a top score, get that trophy, which I love it, which is always a great reason to always have that replay value. It's there with a shit ton of games. It only gets more difficult once you experience it the first time, you complete that mission, and then boom, now they unlock a difficulty of a hard mode. So you could go back to that and play it at your own risk and on your own time. I thought that was perfect. I really thought that was cool for them to have those mini games. But the story overall was definitely cool. Like I said, I played Crisis Core, and I might give a little bit of Crisis Core. This might be like a little slice of Crisis Core review with this, because they really went hand in hand with Crisis Core, and I love Crisis Core. I love Zach Flair, his story, Angelo, Genesis, all those dudes, Sephiroth. Man, it was great. And for them to kind of be in this one and honoring that story, I thought they did a great job in doing it. Where Zach, and this is like a universe where Zach lived, and Cloud still got the Mako poison, and Aerith is kind of like maybe in limbo. And my whole thing was, maybe Aerith, right? And this is my thing. Maybe the OG version, right, was great, but when they introduced Zach and they gave Zach his own game, fans went nuts, and people really loved the character of Zach. They felt like, you know what, let's do Zach justice. Let's go ahead and bring him in the new game, but have Zach obviously, um, you know, play more of a bigger role. Have Zach do this own thing, but not with Cloud, but just by himself and X, Y, and Z. I thought it was great. I thought it was dope. You know, um, The main focus was still Cloud, of course, but every now and then you would kind of pop in, pop out, and see what's going on in the world. You're trying to get an idea of it. Biggs is still alive. Tifa. You don't really run into Yuffie just yet, but Tifa, Barrett, and some of the Avalanche people are dead. So it's an interesting world that they're in. And Zach's here. So you got some of the other side characters in Rebirth, in Zach's universe as well, but you just have Cloud kind of incapacitated and Aerith there. Obviously, her white material is clean, so clear. So I don't know what that would mean. I don't know, maybe if her material went from white to clear because she had to help Cloud, and in that universe, it's white. You know, there's going to be a whole lot to unpack, obviously, but I'm gonna try to condense it. I think in the universe where Aerith is with Zack, she went to a different universe using the white materia and probably some put her subconscious or whatever, her connection to her in that other universe or timeline into that. And in order to do that, she had to use the white material to do that, to bring peace, prosperity, and all that stuff. So she probably went to a timeline or universe where she existed, where Cloud existed, where all this stuff happened, but Zack died. And this is what she's got to do. She's got to save Cloud. She got to do this, that, and the third, yada yada. And they understand each other. They're synchronized with each other, and this is what it is. Maybe that's the purpose. But I thought it was great that they brought Zack back. I thought Zack definitely should have seen Cloud, just to see the type of guy that he is now and what he's going through and stuff like that. I think it would be great. We always want that. For me anyway, like I always felt like, what if Future Trunks saw Future Gohan again? And now that Future Trunks is an adult, we always want that. We always want our new heroes to be visited by their heroes at some point, whether in their prime or this, that, and the third, or they're doing down, and that person comes to uplift them, and that becomes like a force ghost, like a I'm always going to be with you in spirit to push you. That would always be perfect. But we didn't get that in the game, but I'm glad that we got something like that in this game, and we saw it with Zack Cloud team up at the very end, and it was beautiful, man. The characters were definitely on point. Um, I remember Nightwing asking me about some of the voices. I think Kate Sith's voice fit him for him. Like I'm gonna do a little bit of comparison to the OG, like I said. Um, with the OG, you're a kid reading it yourself, so like my imagination as a child was just like, whatever, I'm just gonna read it, tone. So I think giving them personality and flavor worked. They already had personality reading it, but I think to it didn't help because they didn't have a voice. Now that they have a voice on it, it's like it's perfect. So I think Kate Sid's voice worked, Barrett's voice worked, Tifa, same voice actors from Remake, Red 13, it worked. I think with Vincent, Sid, and Yuffie, however, was definitely unique. I didn't know how Sid was gonna sound, but now Sid's stuff kind of grew on me. I feel like Vincent was too like, "Hey, bro," like very like brood, calm. He didn't really give me like this is what needs to go on, or his voice was very like relaxed, but he's still like kind of like don't bother me. So maybe in the next game they might work on it, or they might still keep the same actor for the voice, but it didn't like stir me away to a point. I think Sid was just really the one that kind of like how's he going to sound, and it started to grow on me. So a lot of the voice actors with the characters like it fit. If you didn't like it because it was like your first, like your first thoughts or whatever, it's how they should sound is one thing. But I think once you hear them talk enough and their dialogue and the interaction, it grows on you. So I really dug the characters and I really dug the voice actors played a lot of these people straight up because it grows on you, and it's not bad. They didn't do a bad job, bro. It's FF7. This is the baby, so they're really taking good care of this joint. You know what I'm saying? They're really taking good care of their bread and butter, bro. Square Enix doesn't disappoint when it comes to Final Fantasy. Maybe often than none, but they know how to get it back on track. This is like their foundation. Like, come on. So The characters were dope. The music was cool. They had some new music in there. I thought the new music was cool. I thought Arif's performance was excellent. So sorry. I thought that was pretty dope. I thought that was really cool. The You had mini games for like musicals. I wasn't really a big fan of. I was just like, I'll try my best, but it's not my best thing. You had some of the real lifetime action sequence. Those were really fun. Those were really fun, especially at the end. I wish we had a little bit more of those, but then you had some of the returning characters in the remake that were in Rebirth, and I thought that was cool. And then their characters obviously grew a little bit, not too much because they just left Midgar. So you gotta remember, like these people are more than likely maybe a couple weeks, months in when you see them again. But it's cool that they brought them back. You get I think one more fight with Homeboy on the bike. Um, you get a duel with I think one of the side characters from remake. I think it's the dude. You get the I'm trying to think. What was it? Damn. You get to battle the dude with the little fur, fur jacket, and then you fight the one lady that gets you in the dress. So I thought that was pretty dope that they kind of make a return. Also, some of the bosses kind of make a return. So, um, from just looking at it, a lot of people make a lot of these returns in the sequel, which was cool because it lets you know, like, okay, there's still progression through this, and the world still is still turning. Um, and Cloud is still on the hunt, still doing what he has to do to stop and fight Sephiroth. But you know, with the quest and some of the side quests, I felt like some of the side quests could have been the main quest as well. Like key points, like the Pro Relic could have been like a main thing that you'd have to do, but they kind of like left that for like side stuff, which I guess for replay value you can always do again. But you know, the a lot of the people were cool. Like I said, you had a lot of people that were in one that came back that you fight in some capacity, rather it's physical or rather through a Yu-Gi-Oh card game that they call Queen's Gambit or Queen's Blood. And I thought that that was perfect. Some of these people don't need to get hit with a Buster Sword, but some of these people do. So I like how they picked and they choose certain things. But just seeing everything, man, like the OG, they definitely took a whole lot of resources from the OG and really just revamped it up. But telling a different story is what made it even more crazier. And I'm glad that playing Rebirth, it was like a refresh of a game. Like I'm not only playing the OG, but I'm playing it a slightly different with so much stuff now that's been uncovered through the years, the lore and all of that. So I think now when we get to the third game, we're gonna see how everyone is because spoilers alert, y'all. You know what I'm saying? Like at this point in time right now, I'm gonna say I got spoilers up ahead. This is pretty much my thoughts on the third Final Fantasy to kind of bookend it. I think if we get DLC, that's an option. But I think with DLC, we probably play as like Vincent in the past or Sid or Vincent and Sid, nothing too crazy because they would want to keep anything great for the next game. So they'll probably do what they did with Yuffie, and maybe then slightly tie that in with Yuffie's story. Because even with Yuffie's DLC, it wasn't too bad. I haven't played Yuffie's DLC, but when you do run into Yuffie, they kind of throw a flashback in Yuffie for the DLC. It's not really it's kind of like, okay, that happened with Yuffie. We understand her story, so that's kind of like it's a nudge. That's all. It's not like something. Oh my god, what happened? This is a big epic chunk of the story. It's just kind of like you don't gotta really, you don't gotta know if you gotta know. It's more of an option, but same thing with if they do this DLC. If they decide to do the DLC for Rebirth, they could do something like that. But I think for the actual game installment would be, like I said, with Aerith passing on and kind of, now Cloud's got the dark materia and he's also got the white materia. I think this is where we're gonna be seeing a whole lot of just different things. Aerith is dead, and the team is grieving. You got damn near Sephiroth about to wipe the whole world out and get ready, and Cloud's being pushed to his ultimate test. We don't know the lights of what's going to happen with Zack. So there's a lot of things that I think what's going to happen would be obviously we're going to go back to Midgar. We're going to fight Shinra and fight Sephiroth at the same goddamn time, or team up with Shinra to get rid of Sephiroth, and then eventually take on Shinra once Sephiroth is killed. But the ultimate test, I think, would be seeing Cloud face Sephiroth, and obviously Zack coming to help Cloud, aid Cloud with the help of Aerith. I feel like Aerith will use the white materia to purge any kind of hold that Sephiroth may still have on Cloud, or influence that Sephiroth may still have on Cloud, and will purge that out of him. Cloud will obviously come to his senses in time. Rather, he has to go through Mako. They might blame it on the Mako poison, the whole scenario with him, being impaled by Sephiroth, and they take in Cloud's blood with Zack and Sephiroth, all this other weird type of shit. If there's a way to kind of like get rid of that Mako poison, they might, find a way to do it. And I'll just say it like this, he'll probably, we don't know the side effects. So they can say, he's going to be kind of like a vegetable for a while, but after a while, he'll be good and he'll be great. So they could do something like that. But we don't know the current states. It's kind of like right now, this Cloud is kind of like, okay, I'm on my adventure, but then this Cloud's kind of like just in a wheelchair bound, doesn't know what to do, yada, 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 and stuff like that. But we do know that Sephiroth will be dropping a meteor. That's that was it's typical timeline stuff. So it's still going correctly. I do know, like I said, Cloud's going to be going through some type of stuff when he finds out the truth about his life and stuff like that. And that might come from the black materia. And then the white materia might be to like purify him and stuff like that, to have him come to his senses and realize who Zack is and stuff like that. And Zack teams up with Cloud. This sounds like just fan shit at this point, at this time that I'm giving you guys. And Aerith comes to do like some heal and give him one big push and to help him take on Sephiroth. And then, when Sephiroth takes him down, she's gonna say, I'm always gonna be with you, yada yada yada, but I mean it over here. And it's gonna have Zack probably in this universe do X, Y, and Z and be with Zack, and then you be with Tifa, and the whole world's at peace, everything's at one. So that's my whole thing about what they're gonna call probably like Final Fantasy Revolutions or Revelations or something like that. But I think we won't see that until like probably like another 2 years. Probably another 2 years. 2 years out, I'd probably say, at the time of this recording. So the game was great. If you guys haven't played the game yet, I would suggest playing it. Do you have to play Remake to play this game? I mean, you get a recap. You get a recap of like, of Remake. But did you? I mean, you get a recap of it. It would be nice for you to play Remake, just because there's a lot of good content in there and a lot of good stuff that I might forgotten, that I think Remake would be worthy of playing, and then Rebirth. But if you kind of like, screw it up, do Rebirth then Remake, go right on ahead. Like, I don't think there's not another way. It's not a wrong way to play that game, because um it's very like linear in a way. You know what I'm saying? So, but um I can't wait. I can't wait. Hopefully we get the game 2 years, but knowing them, they might make Final Fantasy 17 or 18 before we get the last bit of 3. Because you got to remember, like, after this is done, completed, book end, people are going to lose their minds. People are going to be reviewing it and stuff like that. Now you got to ask yourself, are you going to give us a remake of Final Fantasy 8? Because Nightwing is the first dude to wait in line for that game. I think he's going to get the pre-order with the statue, and he's going to drop the 350 or 250. He might be the reason why Square Enix might get sold out the first time they open up shop with Final Fantasy 8. So I think we give other Final Fantasy people a chance. I love 7, so I'm glad I'm playing 7. But I do want people who played 8 and 9 and 10 to get remakes. 9 is definitely something that I want to play. So if they do a 9 remake, I'll probably play the OG version of 9, then play the remake of 9. Um, 8. I tried playing 8, but I might have to revisit 8. But hopefully I'll play 8 remake if they ever decide to do it, which I think they should. It's a popular game enough, and it's sold. Leon was in Kingdom Hearts 1 and 2, and we got to see that dream team of him and Cloud. So why not just say screw it? We'll give Leon a remake. But we'll see what Square Enix wants to do. Hopefully, they do all of this and finally listen to me and the fans waiting for a Chrono Trigger remake. you know, but that's going to conclude my review, my take, my thoughts on Final Fantasy VII. Y'all, finally beat the game. Beat Elden Ring. So I've just kind of been celebrating, watching movies, shows, covering things on my KG film side of things. Been getting ready to gear up on that front end. Probably giving you guys a whole bunch of shorts for some of the content, for some of the journey while doing that, and probably playing a couple of free to play games. The First Descendant, Multiverse, and maybe this week or the week after, before the end of the month, tell you guys the next big game that I'm going to be playing on stream. So be on lookouts for that. But that's going to conclude it right here, man. You guys don't subscribe to the Blue Saber Gaming channel, go ahead and subscribe. Hit the like button. Go ahead and check out a couple games on the playlist. Like I said, I've beaten the Elden Ring, the base game, and the DLC. So you guys can check that out. Check out the shorts that I got for it. I'm going to be dropping a whole lot of just from the first, probably from like the first chapter to like chapter 7 or 6 of Final Fantasy VII Rebirth. I also got to start pumping out more stuff with Infamous and Crisis Core. That's gonna take a while, but when it does, it's gonna hit like a freight train. Um, so just bear with me. Patience is key as a virtue. I just been doing a whole lot. So my apologies, my humble apologies on that, but I'm gonna definitely try and get on that if I can, when I can. So till then, I'll see you guys, man, in the next one. Be safe out there and take care of yourselves. Peace.
Game over.